Hello everybody, and welcome to yet another installment in the gold making series that I am doing, and I'm even trying to turn it into a show, and hopefully that'll show up on YouTube at some point in the future. It's frustrating because it's sort of just chilling by itself right now and you can't actually find it or do anything with it, but I'm trying to get that sorted. Anyway, so today I was thinking about another thing that I could tell you about making gold, and I thought about something that a lot of people don't really think about too much, and that is making gold by not spending gold. The art of not spending. So basically the idea is, if we look here, we've got our, well, I've got my level 5 monk on the horde side now, I've got level 7 hunter on the alliance side, I got the warrior, I got the priest, you know, that's all happening, and I'm going to change over realm while I continue talking. The main thing is that you don't actually have to make a massive amount of gold for your gold that you have stored up to keep increasing, as long as you don't spend it. So how do you get away with not spending? Where do you cut back? How do you make sure that you don't end up spending all of this massive amount of gold that you're going to be making? And the main thing is, try not to spend it on stuff that you don't need. So while leveling a character, you don't need to buy gear. There's no need to do that. Buying BOA gear, that makes sense, because BOA gear you'll use from when you first start the character right the way through. It's a really good investment. BOA gear is fine. Buy BOA gear. It's fine with buying that. But if you're going to be buying some blues or some rares or some epics for low level toons, they're going to end up maybe using them for, let's say, 10 levels, and that's at sort of like the maximum. That's when you've got a piece that's amazing and you just can't replace. 10 levels later, it's gone. It's not very long. That's quite a lot of money it can be sometimes, and there's no real need for you to invest quite so much money while leveling toons. So don't buy gear. That's one of the main things I'd say. Don't buy gear until you're like maxed out. And then the next thing is, well, should you get mount training? And because mount training is expensive. It's really expensive. I mean, it's like 5,000 gold for some of the higher tiers. And I would say yes, go for it. Why not? I'm one of those people that's sort of, I'm fine with spending gold if it saves me a huge amount of time. And flight training is also kind of an investment, because if you're, let's say you're gathering some herbs. If you've got 310% speed, you're going to be gathering a hell of a lot faster than the guy who's sitting there on his ground mount at 100% speed, or even on his flying mount at 150% speed. Get the flight speed. Go for it. Save up for it. Buy it. Use it. Make sure that you have it. Love it. Hug it every single day. Enjoy your flight speed. It's brilliant, and the best part is that often when you're leveling a character and you're going dual gather, you can pretty much buy flight speed while leveling that character from the gold that the character is generating while leveling, so you don't even have to eat into your cash cushion in order to pay for the flying. So that's just one of the things. Don't buy gear, but go ahead and buy flying. But then what are you going to do when you reach the point where you're saying, hey, I've got some gold now, I want to buy some of the cool looking mounts, I want a Mechano Hog, I want a Traveler's Tundra Mammoth, you're thinking. And then I would say, fine, sure, go for it, but don't go and buy it immediately. Set up a goal where you will reward yourself. Once you've reached a certain amount of gold, you will reward yourself by buying a certain mount or a certain pet that you're after. If it's a particularly rare one that's like on the auction house this one time and one time only, then it's up to you to see whether you can manage to restrain yourself. But if possible, it's always better to just leave it. Because let's say you really desperately want that Mechano Hog. Well, rather than buying it as soon as you can, let's say that Mechano Hogs cost 16k gold, and you've just reached 16k. If you buy that Mechano Hog, guess what? All your capital's just been obliterated, your savings are gone, and now you're stuck right back at square one. But if you wait and you say, I'll buy myself a Mechano Hog as a reward for reaching 50,000 gold. Then you buy your Mechano Hog, you're happy, you got your sweet looking motorcycle and everyone's jealous of you with your awesome number plate and everything. And the best part is you've still got money to make more money, so rather wait for it, get it a little bit later, and the later you can get it, the better. So rather go with that. And of course, with the patch changes, when you get it on one toon, it gets sent to all your toons. So that's always fun too. Alrighty, so we've covered the whole idea of not spending money on anything unless you have to. So don't go and buy those Mechano hogs just yet. I'm watching you. Don't think I'm not watching. I'm watching you. Alright, so other than that, there's the other side of the spectrum where most of us know that one guy who just never buys anything. He doesn't buy anything. He never ever buys anything. If he wants to make something, if he wants to craft something, or he wants to do anything, if he wants to prospect ore, he will go and mine every single scratch, every single little bit, every single molecule of that ore. He will go and get himself. So basically what I want to talk about here is time investment. Let's say you desperately need thorium. Okay, you need thorium ore. That is what you're after, that is what you need. Now either you can go out and you can mine thorium, and thus you're not spending any money, you're completely fine, you've got your thorium, spent no money, you invested some time, you got your stuff, and you didn't have to buy it from anybody. Your gold total is completely and utterly fine. It is happy with itself, and it's often Mauritius having a good time. But you can also invest that time in a different way, but in order to get the same thing. So let's say there's tons of thorium in the auction house. Now, you don't want to spend the gold to get the thorium, so you can either gather it yourself, or you can gather another mat. So let's say maybe there's a big shortage of ghost iron on your server now. You need thorium, but ghost iron sells for a massive amount. Whoa, do people use up the stuff? They must be drinking it, or using it to flavor their food. Who knows what they're doing with the stuff? It's not there. It sells for a huge amount. So either you can go and get your thorium, and you're happy with that, you spent no money. Or you can go and get this rare commodity that's ghost iron on your server, hypothetically, and then you're going to make enough money to be able to cover the costs of the thorium that you wanted to get, and then you'll still have a little bit of extra money on top of that. So you ended up making money out of the idea of getting some thorium. And the only way to really get the idea of this is to talk about time investment, because that's what it's costing you to gather. Gathering only costs you time, and time is very, very valuable. So the idea is, if you want thorium, you can either spend an hour gathering all the thorium you need, or can you, perhaps, spend an hour gathering something else that will then get you all the thorium you need and have some extra gold in your pocket afterwards, because that's the way to save. There's no better way to save than to come out after buying something with even more money. That's amazing. Who wouldn't want that? You go into a store, you buy a couple of things, you come out and you're rich. That would be fantastic. So that's basically just the idea of how you're going to work that. Can you invest your time in a more valuable way? Alright? So have a think on it. You need something? Is there a way that you can get it that's thinking a little bit more outside the box? Think about it. Let it stew over in your brain. Anyway, this is just a video to get you thinking about how not to spend gold. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please click that lovely like button, post a comment, and subscribe for more. Cheerio.